everybody, it's Tim Pohanka. We're talking about watch parties and everything here at Severe Lack of Talent, and I am with two guys who kept their pads underneath their behindies so they wouldn't get splinters.
Robbie Perry, Nick Hall,
and welcome to Severe Lack of Talent. Guys, before we start, I want to talk about one thing a little bit off topic. I was reminded today, or the other day, that a group of people were sworn in as new citizens to this country. And for all that's wrong and for all the things that are going on, I think back to what we were taught back in the day that our founders talked about forming a more perfect union. And when they state that, it's because they knew we were imperfect. And let's just keep in mind that as we strive to be a more perfect union, that we have the conversations that go on. So congratulations to all the new citizens of this country. We're excited for you and welcome for the opportunity.
Amen to that.
Yep.
Amen to that.
All right, gang, we're going to start off talking about your favorite topic, your scapegoats and goats of the week.
Yeah, so we're going to bring a new segment on to Severe Lack of Talent. We don't have any talent, so we thought that we would find the people that do have the talent, but we're not looking at on-field performances. So our goat and scape of the week, Robbie, why don't you tell a little bit more about it?
So the scapegoats, every week we're going to go around and someone's going to have a scapegoat. Someone's going to have the goat of the week as well. So somebody, an athlete or anybody involved in sports that did something unrelated to their performance on the field. So with that being said, I will start it off. So I will go scapegoat of the week. My scapegoat of the week is whoever tested the Dallas Cowboys. So it came out that a couple people got tested.
Ezekiel.
And they tested positive for coronavirus, and it got leaked out that Ezekiel Elliott had coronavirus. He was not happy on Twitter. He was super ticked off. He came out and said, it wasn't my agent. My agent had been getting calls all day from reporters. And he also said that he just tweeted out, HIPAA, ? So I did the same thing. I was like, this is a violation of HIPAA.
It is.
Well, looking into it, maybe HIPAA should be scapegoat of the week because according to SMU law professor Nathan Cortez, he said HIPAA is reserved for medical practices, hospitals, and covered entities. For example, a health insurer couldn't release information to the public even if it was considered newsworthy. However, players, teammates, team staff members, and reporters are not covered by HIPAA because it's considered in the best interest of the league and the other teams.
But it's whoever leaked that information out.
That's why they're the scapegoat of the week because they need to. It wasn't their doctors. It was a private, a separate practice that they went to.
But if they hired them to do that,
they should find someone new.
Then that's the problem. I mean, that's the part where it is a HIPAA violation.
Yeah.
Now, if the team, once the information's out there, there's nothing you can do. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and vote on that one. That's
rough.
Yes. I mean,
Well, how mad would you be? Like if you, I mean.
Well, here's
right now. It's no one's business.
I guess in some regards, in sports, we're accustomed to getting injury reports, which is no different than a.
However, their first game isn't for another 3 or 4 months.
Well, think about this. I mean, if Ezekiel, taking that same argument, if Ezekiel Elliott had been diagnosed with corona after the first game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Then it would be. Then it has to be reported. It's the general interest of the league.
But the only reason why it has to be reported isn't see, I love that. The general interest of the league. That is not the reason why the NFL has injury reports.
Oh, it's gambling.
It is gambling.
It's all gambling. That's all gambling.
Injury reports have nothing to do with the general interest of the player of the league.
100% true, but I think that all of a sudden, COVID does bring the general interest of the league into it about reporting that specific one. Just because, I mean, if you're the defensive back who is going to be hitting Ezekiel Elliott, 5, 10, 15. Yeah. Well, are you
not going to tackle?
Does COVID give you an unfair advantage? Another question for another day.
I'm with you. I think you're right on that one. But that means I got a flu. Does that mean that needs to be
It does. I think it especially something like COVID that's highly transmittable. I think it has to be reported. does it have to be
So
reported?
you say that
in-
Ezekiel Elliott's to be running down the field going, got COVID.
Well, on an injury report,
Yeah.
But my question on why I agree with your scape of the week right here is that does it need to report it in early June? There's nothing.
There's nothing.
Other than to make news.
Yeah.
Other than to make a headline. There's no reason for it.
That's exactly
Well,
the thing.
News out of Dallas, right?
Yeah, exactly. So my goat of the week is, Nick, you're going to love this. It's Albert Pujols.
Yes.
Because according to the Los Angeles Times, the veteran Angels slugger is covering $180,000 in salary lost by members of the Angels team in the Dominican who were furloughed because everything that's gone on with the coronavirus. It would cover 5 months of salary for this.
Albert Pujols.
That was a no-brainer.
You guys can get me a little emotional talking about Albert Pujols, my all-time favorite player, both on and off the field. A class act from A to Z, and showing it once again. I mean, it's just an incredible human being, an incredible baseball player.
First ballot Hall of Famer?
I think no doubt.
Yeah.
I think no doubt.
Yeah,
I think there's been people with half the talent. First ballot.
Oh, it's foregone. He could have retired 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
Yeah, it's still been first
Are
ballot.
we getting our vote? Do we get a
Yeah.
a vote on
Hey,
that?
How do we
it is
submit
the
it?
media, right?
Yeah.
So how does this work?
How do we get in there?
I'm gonna dive right on into my scape of the week because I'm gonna go significantly more controversial than Robbie's right now on both of mine. Really, my scape of the week. I'm gonna call out. Before I say who I'm gonna call out, I like to say that even the best out there make mistakes.
Oh God.
Even the best of the best ever. Even the goats.
If it was from you, I think it's the Buffalo Bills.
Even the goats make mistakes. My scape of the week is Greg Sankey with the Southeastern Conference, the SEC, and what they have said to pretty much the state of Mississippi that they will refuse to plan any conference championships in the state of Mississippi if their flag is not changed. Now, I want to tell you why I think that this is the scape of the week, them saying this. It has nothing to do with my feelings about the flag, first of all. I'm all for the removal of the flags from, especially state buildings and stuff like that, and there's a various multitude of reasons why.
It's a participation trophy.
It's a participation.
That's a whole different conversation.
But yeah, a whole different conversation. But going back, my problem is overstepping the boundaries of what you serve as a collegiate conference. You are punishing Mississippi State and Ole Miss for the actions of their state. You are punishing the revenues of being able to host events. You are punishing two schools that do not actually have say in what the state flag looks like. How can you possibly punish two schools? I know we talked about this briefly before. I'm excited to get back into it. But how can you punish two schools based on what the state of Mississippi is doing? They have no right to do that.
This isn't just about punishing the schools in the state of Mississippi. If when they look at hosting championship games or any type of playoff game or any type of event like that, the SEC is bound by their standards and practices and what they're willing to accept. And if they're not going to allow them to host a game and have the revenue outside of the stadiums, to have the hotels, to have the restaurants, to bring all of these players down there, to see a flag that they're going to deem, that they have, by a standard, have deemed offensive. It's not just about the school and their specific income. It's about all the ancillary things that go on. The NCAA, I know you don't like the NCAA, but they made a stand with North Carolina. They made a stand with Georgia. They've made stands with them saying, look, this isn't just about these two schools, it's about every other school that participates in this league.
How, though, why is that the responsibility then of a collegiate athletic conference?
But there's other teams in that conference. So if I'm another team in that conference, so I'm coming from Texas, and no, we don't approve of that.
But
okay,
look
fine.
at-
Then the other choice is
Look
to
at
vote
what Ole
Mississippi
Miss,
out.
Ole Miss just a few years ago, Ole Miss, University of Mississippi, they obviously had their own controversy really revolving around the exact same subject. I mean, the exact same subject, if you guys know, the story Ole Rebel was their mascot, was deemed offensive, just like exactly what's going on right now. Ole Miss made a ton of changes to their game day lacking
Tony.
talent. Yes,
Tony is the new mascot.
Tony the Shark is the new mascot because of the land shark thing. Pretty cool. that they really latched on to, a student-driven campaign, and then they latched onto that, made it official. But they went away from their mascots and their other things that they had around campus that did, in fact, relate back to the Confederates and everything like that. So they've already made these steps and progress, and now once again they're in the
But they're not being stopped from hosting a game.
They're
not being stopped by having their season, but they're told they can't host a championship game in their state.
Well, is this the first step, though? What if they said, "Hey, you can't play in that stadium," and so?
What happens? That would have to end up being a vote from the SEC as a conference. This is the standards by which we are holding all of our teams accountable. If you want to be part of it, this is what we hold them accountable.
You just mentioned a vote, though. So that goes back to my scape of the week, Grace Hankey. Without a vote, he has made this.
Do you think that he went out there without having some idea what the rest of his teams in the league would say?
Well, there's a lot of people out there right now that do that as commissioners of leagues. So yes,
but
I don't know one way or the other.
That I would think if I am the running a conference like the SEC, which is almost like the NFL. Or when you look at these,
SEC, NFL, same caliber of talent.
When you look at these conferences and you look at the number of teams that are involved in them and what goes on, if you're in charge of the SEC or you're in charge of the NCAA or you're in charge of the ACC or any of these conferences, it's huge. It's a huge, huge entity. I am pretty confident that he didn't go out there and go, well, you know what? I just woke up today and this is what I'm talking about.
And my mind could be swayed that he is not my scape of the week. If it would mean a lot to me if this was something that was talked about with Mississippi State and Ole Miss. Perhaps they want to be the front runners on this change.
Yeah, it might be their idea.
It might be their idea.
Maybe they don't want to have their name out like they're the ones being the front runners on it either.
But because it might be their idea. It might be like, hey,
we're trying to make
you
a
put
change.
it out there, we're behind you. Yeah.
I would love, with that being said, I would love to see the reactions. Both, the athletic departments or the school of Ole Miss, Mississippi State. Let's see what they say.
Obviously, this chair is available.
Yeah, there you go. So, Greg Sankey, come on in.
You come in, and if not, we also have the ability to host you live if you want to.
Okay, my goat of the week. This is going to be a hot take, so get ready for this one. My goat of this past week is Manfred.
Okay.
He is the one that I think has done a great job, and he's getting a terrible rap for it. And let me kind of walk you through why. Right now, the frustrations are the players and the owners simply cannot get their stuff together in Major League Baseball to be able to come up to an agreement. And the one person who is not representing either one of those sides that is tied into this is Manfred. Why does Manfred completely get the bad rap of this entire negotiating process when he does not? He is here for the interest of baseball. Sometimes, quite literally, especially, the players tweeting out what they tweeted and then what they submitted just last night, laughable. It really is laughable based on where everybody said they were and then what they submitted. It's like the conversation between Manfred and Clark didn't even happen. Why does Manfred get this bad rap? Because I honestly think at some point in time, it seems like Manfred's the only one that wants to play baseball.
It possibly is.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna definitely talk about where baseball is apart a little bit later. But yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I told you before. I mean, the commissioner has to act in the best interest of the league. He may be employed by the owners, or she may be employed by the owners. But at the end of the day, it's that person that goes, hey, look, this is your business.
Right.
And I'm here to warn you, you're about to destroy your own business.
Yeah. Well, I think the reason why I think Rob Manfred's a fantastic selection because he has been the scape.
Yes.
For
both the players and the owners.
Yeah, because I think, what happened with the league and him, some people think not coming hard enough on the Astros. And
well, that's a different.
I think that set the precedent like, oh, this guy has no idea what he's doing. He's juicing the baseball. He's doing this, blah, blah, blah. Of course, we're not figuring out because it's him. No, I just think that the owners are being greedy. The players are being brats. And Manfred's like, guys, please, we got to figure this out. I think he might be the only one. I think the players and the owners, I think at this point, they'd be fine with no season. No matter what they say, I think really they would be like, it's fine, we're fine.
It's just words. It's just words. Saying they want to play because nobody wants to be the one that looks bad, and that's why Manfred keeps getting blamed. But when you look into these things, the players finally submitted a new proposal to the owners, to Manfred to present to the owners. Manfred is not even going to present it to the owners. But you know why he's not going to present it? It's not because he doesn't want to play baseball. It's not because he's the bad guy. It's because he knows if he presents that to the owners, they will be further away from coming to an agreement based on what all is in
They'll get emotional.
It's going to hurt.
They'll get mad.
It's going to TO the owners. It's gonna tick them off. And so he has to act in the best interest of baseball, and that right now is not show even presenting that proposal to the owners.
I'm with you on that one. I mean, I can understand it. So I've got the same guy for mine. I'm going to pick one person on both ways, and I want you guys to guess as to why. I'm going to go with Jamal Adams. Jamal Adams came out and said that he is not going to play. He wants a new contract. And one could sit there and say, okay, what's he looking for? He's making $3.5 million.
Big.
And he wants to get paid $14.6 million. He wants a contract that's going to make him the top player, one of the top paid players for his position. And then you look at it and you go, okay, well, you're under contract.
Yeah.
You signed a contract, play your contract. But since 2017, since he joined the league, he's first in sacks for a defensive back. He is fifth in tackles. He is second in forced fumbles. And he is third in total snaps taken. Clearly, he's producing at an incredibly high level. So the question that I have is he being greedy, which thus makes him, is that escape, or is he a goat where he's got a right to ask for it? So where are we on the fact that players who outplay their contracts? Now, granted, it was his first contract. What do you get out of it?
Well, I think the reason why he's just one, I think he's partly a scapegoat because he's kind of just whining and complaining and making everything public, but then he's also a goat because he was treated very poorly with the Jets organization last year. They tried to trade him to Dallas. He was completely thrown around. He said there was disrespect
His
going on.
name was publicly thrown around. There's nothing worse.
And the reason why I think he's more of a GOAT is because he is top 5, top 10 defensive players in the league.
Yeah.
He is unbelievable.
And he
is unbelievable.
At the level that he's playing at, even with all the distraction.
Yeah, he is unbelievable.
And he's playing for the Jets. Which
I think
it's like playing for Detroit.
As a Bills fan, I really, really hope they trade him because he's a legitimate.
He's a monster.
He can play. He's a great linebacker and he's a great defensive back. He is one of the true hybrids, Palomalu-esque. If he stays healthy, he has a Hall of Fame career. He's that good.
I love this pick and I love this conversation because this holdout, so normally my opinion on holdouts is that you honor your contract. You play your contract, you signed up for it. If you always have the right to ask for that 14. Every player does. And if they give it to you right when you ask, he's a Jet for life. I mean, why wouldn't you be? You're valued, everything like that. If they say no, from a team perspective, you have to know that player is going to remember that he played one more year at a lower contract because you didn't, for whatever reason, think he had the value at that point in time. He's going to remember that. Now, this one, to me, is extremely unique, and aside from that, because of what happened last year. I think Jamal Adams, I think that regardless of what happens with contract disputes, he's not a Jet.
Yeah.
He's not a Jet after this.
Well,
he's not a Jet either this year or next year when his contract expires. He's not a Jet. So I would also be careful that the Jets just do not care about his health this next season and try to run him into the absolute ground because they know we got him for one more year. It doesn't matter how much money we got him at. We only have him for one more year. So I think no matter what, he's asking for a trade because he knows that after this next season, when his contract does expire, he's done with the Jets.
Why wouldn't they have paid him? Why wouldn't they have even really?
Well, think about it. Think about this. There's no value for the Jets to keep him now. They need to trade him.
They do.
They need to trade him. Whether or not he gets he gets a new contract at his new team or not.
It's almost beside the point for the Jets at this point.
Because
He's not
the
coming
teams
back.
he's asking to go to Baltimore, Dallas, Houston, Kansas City, Seattle, San Francisco, and Philadelphia.
So first of all, he wants to win a Super Bowl.
He wants to win.
Yeah,
He wants
and
to win.
by the way, don't blame him.
Yeah.
And Philadelphia, but Must
So
be
he
from
wants
there.
to go to a team that's going to has a chance. So obviously that's it. Except Dallas,
they're close.
If
They're not far.
I mean, if they pull
Dallas,
the trigger,
Dallas, the team that always will implode somehow, somewhere.
Well,
I mean, they used to blame it on Jason Garrett, and then and Tony Romo. I remember when if it's in the fourth quarter and you give the ball to Romo,
yeah.
I got no idea. But he's going to go to some of these teams that do have cap issues, so he has to be willing to play for his number if he gets traded, and then go on there.
But it gets
but
weird.
he's willing to do it. I
But
guarantee
when
it.
they get traded, players that have contract issues, for example, Jalen Ramsey had contract issues with Jacksonville, got traded to the Rams, and now he literally is like, I'm willing to play out the contract because I know they want me here.
Yes.
And then that is a
That's
different
part of it.
story.
It's funny. It's not really about money with these. I mean, it's about money, but it is a lot about respect type thing. Like you traded 2 first-round picks for me. I know I'm going to be here a long time.
You know you're the future.
Yeah.
And I think it does. A big part of this is not money. I think a big part of this is about how he was handled last year. I mean, they were openly shopping him around. That's not a good look for anybody.
But do you think a team? We're all in performance-based businesses.
Yep. Of course.
And we're going to pay our players, our team members, based upon how well their performance is. And if they exceed their performance, they do deserve something. So do you think this would be an issue if the team had come up to him and said, hey, look, we recognize what you did for us. We had some salary cap space of blankety-blank
There's so much
dollars.
money. That's the thing. There's no reason what the Jets are doing, and I think that's what makes him mad. They never came up to him and said, hey, we have issues or whatever. We're going to talk to other people. So I feel like he thinks he's the star. I mean, now it's Adams and Darnold, even though Darnold's not playing that good, but they're the face of the franchise right now. So suddenly if you find out on Twitter that you're being shopped around, the Cowboys are talking, you're kind of like, what the heck? So it's not like, oh, he has this big contract and he's not, he's underperforming. No, I mean, he is. Even if he was getting paid $14 million, he's worth $14 million. I mean, he is
So let me bring
They botched it.
Let's side discussion this. There are salary cap issues for rookie players.
Of course.
Is that fair? If you can come in and you can play at a level here and you can make an impact, we've got a quarterback coming. You've got quarterbacks that have come in for their first year, the rookie year, and just absolutely killed it.
I don't exactly understand why those caps. I've never understood why the caps for rookies were put in there.
Because they had so many pluses.
Because that was kind of unique. That was a bipartisan thing because people were getting mad that a quarterback could hold out and make $50 million guaranteed and never have played.
And players who've been there for a while, it impacts players that have been there
They
for a
had
while.
such leverage. They literally the rookies had such leverage. But I think, so let's say if you're a first-round pick, it's 4 years, and then they can add a 5th year.
Yeah, which is where he's at on his deal.
I think if you're a rookie and you're a first-round pick and you outplay your first 2-3 years, I think that's the point where, okay, they have a right to be like, hey, I've done my time already. Ante up.
So maybe
I'm not just a rookie.
Maybe
Ante up.
their contract should be based upon an outperformance
Yeah,
clause. Should be
I think it's something they should look at it because I get why not paying a rookie $20 million a year. But if that rookie after 2-3 years is a star, he needs a new contract.
Yeah.
And that's why I get he's a scapegoat because he's trying to cheat the contract, but he's also the GOAT because it's he's way outperformed this thing, and he didn't have a choice to sign this contract. He had to sign it.
Well, and they also the way they treated him. So
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I actually really love your pick on
That's
that
a
being
good
both a
pick.
goat and escape.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
at
a
the
good
same
one.
time.
So, gang, baseball. We're going to go back
Oh,
to
yeah,
this.
let's do it.
Okay. Players are now all tweeting the phrase, any place, anytime, anywhere.
As long as you do these other 47 things, but
Well, no, I'm going to go with this. So now we've heard about baseball's, the owner's plan. We've heard about the player's plan. I'm going to go ahead and go right. I'm going to offer them what we're going to call the severe lack of talent plan. We have a brand new baseball stadium here in Fredericksburg. I'm going to put the call up any place, anytime, anywhere. Fredericksburg, Virginia. Today, tomorrow, give you 2 days from now, 3 days from now, whatever time you want it to be. A week from now? Is that how long would it take for you guys to get the field, to get some extra things ready on the field?
We have to put the nets in.
Nets in?
A day. A day.
All right, so let's say Monday of next week, or next Friday. We'll go next Friday. We're prepared to host the entire season for you. You television contract, you guys keep all the money. Give it to the players. We're 100% fine. We're going to call it the X. What will we name the league?
The XLB.
The XLB. So we'll come in here. We'll have the XLB. We get to keep we'll do something to cover our costs for what we have to. But how's that sound?
They that's what they're saying. They're saying anytime, anywhere. So.
I mean, we could start the league. I mean, that maybe that'll help the owners.
Yeah.
If a pirate league is going to get going and we're going to start this, and we can get that done, we're in good shape on that. If not, so what do you guys want to do? You guys want to? I mean, I think that, we should let the listeners do it. I mean, would you guys sign up for that?
What I know right now is I'm going to be watching Mike Trout's Twitter. He's one of the ones that said anywhere, anytime, and so I'm sure he's going to respond to this pretty soon.
Well,
and then when he does, we'll
Max Scherzer, the same thing.
So
guys, but we're willing to do it. I mean, down here, the television contract alone. I mean, think about this: if they're not going to play in the MLB, if that season's canceled, TV stations will have money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and maybe all the players don't want to play. Maybe a certain set of them do. We can field a couple teams. Have a great little season.
I think it's a no-brainer. I'm really looking forward to seeing this flesh out.
I mean, as many players that want to, we can divide the money pretty fair. I mean, there could be a lot of money in this for the players.
We're going to do 100% revenue share. I'm okay with this.
We just got to cover. We can get some baseball going. Maybe sell some side merchandise. It's not a forever league, so it's not like we're going to worry about long.
As long as we're on top of the board,
someone's got to be. I mean, someone's got to be willing.
Someone's got to be the face. Come on.
Someone's got to go out there. We have our own. I think that's important. Think about this. I think there's merit in my plan.
I like it.
Oh, there definitely is. But it's too good to be true. I mean, they can't even. They are fighting over 60, 70 games.
Yeah.
So they can play as many games as they want here in Fredericksburg. We're fine with that.
That's true. That's true. And if Phase 3 opens up, we might even have a couple fans.
Maybe a couple fans.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that.
There you go.
There you go.
You would take that revenue.
We could sell players' names just on their shirts. That way they get hey, if you're a more popular player, your swag gets sold first. You get on that cut. I mean, I'm all for the players getting paid. So 1 year league, let's go.
Love it.
I mean, that'll get some people talking.
Yeah.
So
sign me up.
You got what is it going to be? The
XLB.
XLB.
We can do the XFL. We can be the XLB.
Exactly. We won't change the rules. We'll just keep it all pretty simple. Yeah. Television contract.
Well, but because it's a neutral site, though, we'll do some kind of thing where everybody has to wrestle over a baseball to see who the home team is.
Yeah, we'll throw it out there like rugby.
UFC cage fight, first blood drawn goes to the
home team.
Wait, we gotta be careful of COVID. Don't blood.
That's true.
That's true. Yeah.
But, social distancing.
Yeah, maybe we'll do like the Rock'em Sock'em robots.
Yeah, I like that. I like it.
That'll be the home team. But I mean, you got a AstroTurf field, space age turf.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna call it my Caribbean grass. I mean, you got corn, you got coconut husks in it. So
you're walking on a beach.
Turf.
Yeah.
It's beach turf as far as you got coconut and sand.
Yeah.
It's a beach.
It's a beach.
It's a beach. I think
Caribbean.
That's
funny.
I think it could be a good time. So that's what I'm talking about. You talked about where they were. You're looking at $1.48 billion from the owners, $1.73 billion from the players. Oh, and this is over 10 games. Players want 70, owners want 60. Are we quibbling over dimes and nickels?
Mm-hmm. We are. Well, it's just, I obviously already gave my opinion on this a little bit ago, but you had Manfred and Clark. Both sides said that it was a great conversation just 4 days ago? said they had a great conversation. We felt like the bones were worked out. And then, ironically, all within the last 24 hours, the players provide an agreement that apparently was just completely shot down.
That's happened several times.
And then Clark, for the players' union, comes out and says that, oh, well, we really weren't that close. I kept bringing stuff up that was ignored. Okay, you waited 4 days to actually say that? Just 4 days ago, you talked about how productive the meeting was, and now it wasn't productive after your plan got shot down. And then, it's one huge problem they have is how public they try to negotiate this. Nothing ever gets negotiated publicly. It'll never work out. But with that in mind, the amount of stuff that the players just added into this, there's another $60-70 million in different donations that they're requiring owners to make to different calls. That should have nothing to do with playing baseball.
No.
And at some point, I do think it's going to come down to Manfred saying, hey, we're enacting what you guys signed up for in March. Sorry about all the other stuff you want. To both sides, it's time to play baseball.
We have to play baseball.
We're close. I think we're close to just having to do it.
Yeah. They have. If they can't figure it out, and there is no baseball, and he just chooses not to enact that action, it is going to look like shockingly bad. Like they're going out of their way to handle this as poorly as they can. They've had months to figure this out.
But we have the XLB ready to go.
That's the whole thing. That's my whole sales pitch. We're ready. Okay, we'll figure it out.
We're ready to go. The XLB is a thing ready to go.
We're willing to.
I bet you we can get Mary Washington. Let's use their field too. We got 2 fields. 2 fields.
And we got Sunshine Ballpark.
We got 3 fields now. Oh my God!
Homers every single.
And maybe use Richmond for the. We need a few games. We're good. We can take care of this. We have this, guys. No problem. Just anytime, any place, anywhere. Give us a call. Reach us here at the dealership or call these guys. We're good. All right, we're gonna go to hockey, which I know immediately turns you off.
Yeah.
Because you're not a hockey fan, but
just lost 2 viewers when you said that.
Yeah.
Buffalo fires 22 people. Jack Eichel blew his mind. He's like, "What's gonna happen here?" So you've got your face of your team, your captain of the team, guy who was drafted just a couple years ago, who was supposed to be the next great one. Now he's frustrated, and we've seen what happens when players get frustrated with their teams. But they fired the GM, the assistant GM, all of the coaches, all of the scouts, all of the developmental coaches, all of the minor league coaches.
Yeah.
A complete start over from scratch.
The only people who didn't get fired were the owners.
Yeah.
And this is a team that since 2013 has had the 8th pick in the draft, second pick, 8th, 1st, and 7th picks in the draft.
Awful.
The whole Pagulas owning the Sabres and the Bills it's been a really interesting study of how quickly the public can turn. Because the Pagulas came in and they bought the Sabres, and a couple years later they bought the Bills, both teams that were potentially going to move. For years, the Pagulas couldn't do any wrong. They were
the saviors
of the city. Now, after a lot of Sabre fans have getting frustrated, it's not a lack of talent. Unlike us.
That team has
loaded with talent.
Pozo, Skinner, Simmons, plus
Rasmussen. Darling or what?
Then you've got Ristolainen.
Yeah,
you are not talking a team that is full of scrubs.
No,
it is a stacked team from talent.
And so they just keep on. And you're in Buffalo, hockey heaven. I mean, when you look at top markets in the NHL of viewership. Even if Buffalo's on the playoffs, if you look at the Stanley Cup, Buffalo's always top 3. Their ratings in Buffalo, I mean, hockey, everyone plays hockey.
They're still drawing around 17,000 fans per game.
Yeah, people love,
and
but
they
stink. But they are, I mean, when you get on Sabres Twitter, and people are furious at the Pagulas. They said they're a joke. They don't know what they're doing. The problem is the Pagulas, and this is a human aspect, is that they had never run a team. They had never done anything. So they were in the oil business. So they're figuring this out as they go. And just like any of us would. But the problem, though, is that they are messing with hundreds of millions of dollars, $1 billion industry in the public eye. So they said, hey, Botterill, he was the GM. They said, we're going to keep him. 2 weeks later, they fire him.
But why? But you look at that. Let's look at that. He is drafted correctly. I mean, for the most part. I mean, you're always going to have a bust. He's gotten players.
Yeah.
I mean,
his contracts are good, too. Hasn't done terrible contracts.
He's gotten players. Is the problem with him that he wasn't smart enough to look at the coach and go, I got bad coaching in the minor leagues, I got bad scouting for other players? Or is it, or is this a chemistry problem?
I think it's two things. Why they went back on their word, saying, okay, this was, we're not going to fire him, then 2 weeks later they fired him. Two things. One, they realized that he has a complete different connect. There's a disconnect. That this is our philosophy and he has this philosophy. And they finally, after digging in a little bit more, they realized, oh, snap, this is not the guy we want. Or, it kind of ties in, or they were just the Pagulas were so disconnected from anything, they had no idea. They literally had no clue. When they said, oh, we want him, they actually didn't have any idea where he was going.
Now you have to go find all of these people to replace them.
Yeah.
And they've got to come into a situation where they're like, it's like working for the Redskins.
Right. Yeah. And it's very fascinating because on the opposite side, on the Bills side, it just shows how important it is to try to hire the right people because they're very hands-off on the Bills.
They can be.
And the Bills, because they can be. So they have a GM and a coach. And everyone now, Bills fans are freaking out because they're like, okay, we need to sign these guys to a long-term extension ASAP and don't let them be like, hey, we're going to try to get out of this situation. Because if they let Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott go, the Pagulas will go from the goat of the city to the biggest scapegoat they've ever seen.
Well, keep in mind that you've got NHL expansion coming. So you need to have some understanding as to what your direction of your team is going to be.
I wouldn't be surprised if they try to sell the Sabres.
I just don't know how you're at the point where maybe you can't. You can't keep them, or you don't know what's going on. You got the expansion coming up. You've got another whole set of a whole team getting signed up, coaches, players, things like that.
I wouldn't be surprised
when
if they sell.
When you just see something that just obviously was broken, but you see something that just absolutely implodes. That's scary.
They won't ever sell no one is going to ever, unless they get forced to sell an NFL team, no one's ever going to try to sell an NFL team because it's, once you get it, there's no way you can lose money, Yeah. There's no way.
Well, there's some people trying.
But just the TV deal alone is going to, but with, I wouldn't be surprised if they try to sell. They've just, unfortunately, have botched it over and over and over again. And the public is turning quickly against them. Quickly.
So, bringing you back in the conversations, because I'm sorry we talked about
No, that's fine.
We're only eligible, just to let you know,
Taking a nap over here.
I'll tell you what, next week I'm bringing a game of solitaire for you guys. I'm just going to start playing cards.
Well, if hockey starts and no one else, you're kind of way out of luck.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be rough.
Way out of luck. Because even with NASCAR playing, it's like, and I like NASCAR. I'm a NASCAR fan, but it's not that exciting to talk about. Think about this. You saw another guy went nuts on the baseball players. Did you see Matt Russo? Oh, he went crazy about this. So that shows you how stressed out everyone is that there's nothing to talk about. Yeah. We need you back playing because it's getting crazy. So it's funny that we start talking about all these different things. I went and I looked up a few things about players who've played with one team their entire career.
Not Tom Brady.
Not Tom Brady. No.
Tom Brady.
Think about, and I want to bring that down the road later to talk about that, about what it takes to play with one team. So I'm just giving you guys some advance notice on what I want to talk about down the road. But Dr. Fauci, our favorite Dr. Fauci, does not think football will be able to play this year.
Bite me.
Dr. Fauci, you're welcome to come to the show. Chairs available. Can't wait to have you here on that one.
I hate to say it, it makes the most sense out of all the sports.
Here's the thing that was interesting. And I don't know if it's going to be possible. They talked about in the NHL about looking at wearing full face masks.
Yep.
Like they do in college.
Mm-hmm.
They know they're going to do something like that. Bauer, I think it was Bauer that's already been approached. Sorry, we're talking about hockey again.
Okay.
I don't mean to give you grief.
Yeah. Just on an island over here.
Yeah, just on an island. It's only a popular sport. I mean, I'm just letting you know.
I got the other four down.
I realize it's not on. I know on some of the things it's the last tab in the sports thing, but it's played every year. It's been in the Olympics too. Just the FYI on that one for you.
So is curling.
Popular in Canada too. So is curling. Yeah. So it's popular in Europe too, by the way. So they're looking at full face masks for everybody. Could the NFL do something like that where they had face shields on all of the players?
Yeah, I think
do they have an opportunity to get back? I know why Dr. Fauci would say he doesn't think it could play. Maybe, but I mean, I just cannot imagine missing the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Missing, 16, well, now it's 18 weeks with the new contract. I mean, baseball going away would be detrimental. Football not being played.
The NFL not being played. The reason why I think there's no way there's just way too much money, not just in the league but in TV. The 70 of the top 100 most watched shows in America every year are NFL shows. They're games. They're Sunday night football. Sunday night football. They're Sunday afternoon football. They're 70 of the top 100 year after year. They're usually 8 of the top 10. So there's too much money. If you take away the NFL, you're not just hurting the fans in the league. You are potentially putting.
Well, let's take the money out of this.
Cable out of
Let's
this
just
business.
take the money out of this. If you think about if you think about at the end of the week, it's Sunday, you're excited, or Monday after work or whatever. I'm just talking about the how ingrained football is in our society for a 25-week period. You're talking almost half the year.
I don't even want to talk about it. It'd be a nightmare.
I mean, and I'm not trying to knock any of their sports, but the nice thing about baseball or hockey or basketball is click, oh, there's a game. Yeah. Click, oh, there's a game.
You're 100% right.
Click, oh, there's a game.
Yeah. But
football, on football Sundays,
football's the only one out of all the sports that own a day of the week.
Yeah.
And if college football doesn't play,
that's your weekend. I mean, your weekend's wide open. Like, what am I supposed to do?
It's not. I mean, it's just.
Am I supposed to play? What am I supposed to go on trips or something? Like, what's going on?
Talk to family? I don't know. I mean,
mow the lawn.
Mow the lawn. Exactly. I mean, once the lawn's mowed, that's like your emphasis. I got to go do the lawn to go watch the game.
Yeah.
Man,
or that's the perfect time to do the lawn on a Sundays when the Bills are getting blown out 30 points at halftime. It's like, I can't watch this anymore. I'm going to mow the lawn while you're still following it on your phone.
But do you remember as kids, it was halftime, you'd go out and you play football?
Yeah.
You would just you would get outside. I get the money, but I'm talking about from the emotional stress.
Oh, we need sports. I think our country's proven we need sports.
I mean, that would be.
That would be
Dr.
not
Fauci.
good.
I love you for keeping us safe. I really, really do. I have no idea how people's mental health would be at the end of that.
It would be tough. It would be tough. It would have a huge impact that I think people take for granted, and it shows how absurd the NFL is and college football is in America. But I mean, even if it's just on, that's something you plan. Your fall and your winter, those are your Sundays. Those are your weekends. You plan trips. You do things. It's not just going to the game or you're a diehard fan, but it's. Think about how many conversations. Think about on Monday.
What are you going to talk about? The water cooler.
Yeah, It will change so much. If they don't have any fans, it'd be a bummer. But I think if any sport could get away with not having fans, it would be the NFL. I mean, going to a game kind of sucks. You can't see the yellow line. It's expensive. Parking sucks. It takes forever. If anything, where people would be like, oh, that's not that big of a deal. I mean, crowd noise would be a bummer. No crowd noise. But, I mean...
Yeah, no, I would
like taking
say
away MLB games where or even hockey games. I mean, going and watching it live, it's just
I'm going watching. I mean,
Totally
yeah.
different.
I'll take you to a hockey game to get you. hooked
Oh
on the sport.
no! I've been to hockey games, love them.
Oh, you just don't know anything about
Oh, yeah.
it. But that's the puck.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
puck
yeah.
game,
It's more with
okay.
ice.
So that's my question that I want to pose to everybody. You know, everyone, the 2-3 people that are watching today. What would you be doing on your Sunday if there was no football?
I got a comment from Madeline saying, without football, what do we have? Good question. And I just said, chaos.
Chaos. So yeah,
The end.
Yeah, the end.
let us know what you think. What you would do if there was no football on the weekends, and we'll talk about that. Which brings me, guys, sticking in football. I posed a question yesterday about the Washington football team, the Redskins.
Oh boy.
About what possible name changes they could have, because obviously he's under pressure again about doing it. And I got some interesting ones. I know I asked you guys to post it. One of the ones that we both got, which was interesting, was the Swamp.
Yeah. We're probably from two totally different people as well. Yeah, I got the Swamp People.
Swamp People. I have the Grays, the Senators, the Judges, the Jury. So I guess some attorney on that one. The Intelligent, the Secret Weapon, the Washington Secret Weapon, Victory, the Omahas, the Lobbyists, the Reps, the Space Force. Great TV show, by the way. And the team that took too long to change their name, embarrassing racist name. That was
That's the name.
And then she put, obviously it's too long to put on a T-shirt, though.
Yeah.
They go by letters on that. They're going to have to find something. You know, there was a rumor that the Warriors that someone put the Warriors out for patent checking, but they need to find something. Which one did you like out of that? I mean, the consultants. I don't know about that one.
The best one that I got was from Alex Judge. He said the DC Comics. It kind of obviously ties in with Marvel and DC, comic books, but it sounds good. And it also, you can tie in with different superheroes, even if you want to do one superhero, if you want to do several different superheroes. I mean, there's not something like that in the NFL right now.
A great way to name your stadium, too.
Yeah.
I mean, if DC Comics wanted to sponsor, if they could pull that in, I guess that would be pretty unique.
Yeah.
I
The
mean-
Swamp People, I think, was also interesting just because of it. I feel like when it rains heavily in D.C., everything starts,
Hail
turns into
to the swamp people. Hail. I don't know how it fits with the song, but I mean that's it's an interesting concept. I mean, and I think we brought it up. A name change is a marketing change.
It is.
It does bring all
It
those
is.
things in.
My thing though is that I would want that DC team to go not in the direction that everybody is expecting it to, because that's boring. Coming up with, I've seen Sentinels, Governors,
Monuments.
The Monument. That's your team name. So one thing when rebranding a team, it doesn't have to directly relate to your community, and it doesn't have to be an alliteration where it's WW. I understand that Washington Wizards are, but that also goes to show that it doesn't have to relate to your community. Because please tell me, is Washington famous for wizards? I don't think they are.
Merlin, I think Merlin's here.
Merlin, live. So Merlin, or invite to the open chair. So and then like Tennessee, you got the Titans. What does that actually have to do with that national community that Tennessee? So there are,
Parthenon. That's
just
what I can think of.
you just got to remember that it doesn't have to be an alliteration, and it doesn't have to be related to your community. You can have a little bit of fun with it. I love the Swamp People. I love the comics. So
And it kind of relates. It does. Kind of relates.
yeah, loosely relating is great, and it can relate. It can be a alliteration, but I am all for a rebrand. And then obviously, if our viewers don't know, I think that DC told them they're not interested in helping them fund a stadium inside Washington D.C. until their name is not racist.
Yeah, well, I mean, here's the thing I would say. He's not going to get any help in D.C.
Yeah.
He's not going to get any help in Maryland. And he's not going to get any help in Virginia at this point in time.
Well, here's the question:
Because of the name, or just because of
Because of the name.
because of the name?
So when he wants a new stadium,
needs.
well, yeah, he's not going to get it. He's not. He's going to have to self-fund it.
He doesn't have that either.
then he's not going to do that. So he's going to have to make a decision. It's not a question of if he'll make that decision, it's going to be when. And does he do it in a time frame that's going to be beneficial for him so he looks like a goat? Or is he going to wait so he looks like a scapegoat? And every day it goes more from being a goat to being a scapegoat. He could have jumped on this. Dan Snyder missed an opportunity to get popularity back in the district, to get popularity back when the movement started, to step up and get it taken care of. And he didn't. And he's thinking that he's going to hold on to a tradition that, as the days go by, more and more people are going to be louder and louder that it's a bad tradition.
Yep.
So he needs to step up on that, and he needs to make a decision pretty quickly. How he brands it, whatever he does, even if he just calls it the Washington Football Club, at some point in time.
But I know that seems like boring for Americans, but there is so many soccer teams.
That's all they are.
All they are. And you just have to come up with a cool logo. And the tradition and the simpleness can go a long way if done right, you know? Like if you did...
Like Washington United.
Like the DC Football Club.
Well, look at every Premier League team. Obviously there's the NFL, but then other than the NFL, the strongest league in the entire world for sports, the Premier League. Every single one is city name FC.
Yeah.
I mean,
but I think if he I know DC United is there, but if he wanted to pick DC United or Washington United or pick something in that regard, he has an opportunity. I've given. I'm not a Dan Snyder fan in terms of what he's done with the team, but I will tell you that if I were the guy in his ear and said, "Look, here is your chance to salvage
and to switch,
then also along with the new
to
name,
flip the field type of thing."
If he can do that and talk Washington, Maryland, or Virginia into a new stadium. Between a new name and a new stadium, you would legitimately be looking at a complete revitalization of the Washington football team.
And he would have he would have a chance to solidify so many things for him on a business.
No doubt.
I mean, just the new shirts, the new swag, you name it.
The good PR.
The good PR.
Good PR.
The final PR.
Yeah.
I mean, he just has a chance to really step up and join in the leadership of this role.
And the time would be obviously probably he wouldn't have time to change the jerseys and all that before the season, but with a new coach, a new start, the time would be now.
He does have the ability. He has the ability to take the Redskin logo off the helmets. He has the ability to take the Redskin, the Indian image off the helmets, the Indian image off of the stadium, the Indian image off the field. And he has the ability to pick a different, because they can go back to their throwback one that's just the Lance,
or just change the name. I mean, the logo, it wasn't nearly the logo.
No, I'm saying he has the chance to move to do that before the season starts. There's plenty of time to get new uniforms made up and things done, even if they're just blank.
You think he does?
Even if they're blank, he does.
But do you think he has any? Do you think there's any chance?
I think there's no chance.
Yeah.
I think if anyone is going to sit there, there's only one other person I know of in the world today that buries their head in the sand as much as Dan Snyder does. And they live close together. So, I mean, if he's not looking at this from a standpoint from his business, I don't know what he's looking at.
Yeah.
So I just question what he's looking at in that regard. Keeping on the NFL. And I want to talk about this to see if you guys have done this yet. Most interesting NFL news, other than what we've talked about, was the Raiders Stadium did their super flush.
Oh yeah, I've heard.
They flushed all the toilets in the stadium at the same time.
So make sure that
nothing blew up. Have you guys done your super flush at your stadium?
That's exciting. I can't wait.
You haven't. I
guess we haven't. No.
I mean, that's a Facebook moment, guys.
Yeah.
I don't know how you haven't prepared that. Who's handling your social media?
Oh yeah, I mean we got to get Again, how do they do it?
First of all, we got to get toilets before we
Yeah,
do
we
it.
gotta
But
get
yes.
So you have no. Oh yeah, okay. Once your toilets go in, you got to have just everyone. Everyone in the room. If you need help, I'll come help for you.
Yeah, okay.
Everyone just flushes at one time. You have a countdown. I mean, there has to be a process.
But I would
yeah.
also love for everyone to do it and be like, yeah, and then suddenly there's huge. Everything comes
the
spouted
only
out.
person I think would be cringing would be Steph at that point.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, man,
well,
I
it's a
got
good
video
thing we did
ideas.
it. Yeah.
I got ideas, guys. I got ideas.
The
So, yeah.
brain's churning.
I think you have to do your super flush. I also want to throw something out. I want to say thank you to the great team at the Fredericksburg Nationals. I got to go there for my son's reveal for their child, and I'd like to know why I wasn't contracted about my pitch. I mean, I tried to strike him out, but I was told I couldn't. But I got the ball over the plate. He hit it. It didn't go
Great
anywhere.
contact, though.
Great contact.
Yeah.
That's always my nightmare.
Miss.
Like
Whiff.
missing. Yeah.
Oh,
and
he kept going. He goes, how you gonna pitch it? I go, I'm thinking curveball, and he goes, no.
No.
And I go, slider.
Don't even
He
joke
goes,
like that.
no. I go, fastball. He goes, no. I go, you don't want me to throw the knuckle. And he goes, I want it underhand, and I want it as slow as you can get it. So he took a swing at it, didn't he? And,
Yeah.
Smoked it.
That thing would have been gone forever.
So in case you guys didn't know, it was pink.
Yeah.
So we hope to clean the pink dust off the turf there. But got to use the field. It's a beautiful field. You've got an event going on there. What day?
This weekend?
So this weekend.
Tomorrow.
Talk about it.
Tomorrow, yeah. We are doing an open house event. Saturday and
toilets,
Sunday. No toilets. No, it's just a tour of the stadium and to be able to
You can't
have
flush anything, guys.
Yeah, be able to have the the crowds be able to look at the stadium for the first time.
So the thing that's important that I want to let everyone know, there's a few things that aren't ready that are going to make your stadium amazing.
Oh.
I think the history wall of baseball history in the area is going to be amazing. That's not going to be up and available yet. And then some of the other amenities that you guys are putting in. Gang, I will tell you, from someone who's toured it, the concourses are incredibly wide. There's plenty of room. You're not going to feel trapped in. I've sat in as many seats as I could, go around and look like, like a Benny Hill episode. Running around there, trying to sit in all the seats. Other than the ones that they gave me, guys, there's not a bad seat in the house. I got the only obstructed view. I don't know how that happened. But no, there's not an obstructed
There's a
view.
big pillar right in front of me.
Yeah, somehow they put me in the outfield right behind the light pole. I don't know what happened. But it's a great stadium, great views. The sight line with the trees in the background is amazing. Going there during the day, if you're not immediately wishing that baseball were back, you'll find the romanticism of baseball by going back there. So thank you guys for a great time.
We're excited. It's going to be great.
You're going in groups of 10?
Groups of 10.
Groups of 10. And they're going to see everything, right?
No.
No?
We're going to see everything where it's safe for our fans to go.
Okay. Not your office.
No, not our office.
not your office, okay.
Not the behind the scenes tour.
Not the behind-the-scenes tour. But will people get to see they'll know what their seat numbers are, where their seats are going to be?
Everybody should have those. Yeah, absolutely.
So they'll be able to go there, maybe take a pic of them at their seat or something like that.
It's going to be a really cool event.
Yeah.
It's going to be a cool event.
That'd be really fun.
Yeah.
So thank you, gang. It's another great episode. Tim Pohanka.
Robbie Perry.
Nick Hall.
We have no talent, but we'll see you on the bench. And guys, I have listed for us our backup plan